Good Monday evening. Thanks for joining us for Unscripted here on Up North Live. Feeling a heck of a lot like spring today, Joe, but we can't get used to it because it's going to feel like winter again soon.
Yes.
So just enjoy today while you can.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a gradual, drop back. I mean, I think next Monday it's going to look a lot different. Like
teens, you're saying, right?
Maybe, yeah. It's a week away, so we'll see. But yeah, changes coming in. In fact, let's take a look around Northern Michigan tonight. Petoskey. Our studios are near Traverse. So we've actually lost a lot of snow in some areas. The sun's out, though, at Cadillac, and you can see there also at Houghton Lake, kind of looking out at the ice there this evening. Here's a look at temperatures right now. Now, we are starting to drop off. Pellston was at 57 today. It tied a record high, already down to 47. Temperatures dropping a little bit, but we're still hanging on at 65 at Grayling. Traverse City still at 61, and then you get up into the eastern UP, temperatures at the Sioux and Newberry in the upper 30s. A weak front dropping through. There are a few showers trying to get going here. There's not much of this reaching the ground, but you can see that on radar this evening. A couple light showers there around Charlevoix, for instance. Probably not quite reaching the ground, but a few spits of rain are possible here. But take a look. The 60s done, and a big drop in temperature coming up here, along with chances for some snow. We'll take a look at all that in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Joe. That brings us to our question of the day. Is there still snow in your yard? Check out our website, UpNorthLive.com. You can also scan the QR code right there on your screen and vote in our poll right now. You can also go to our Facebook fan page, Up North Live. Leave your comments. We'd love to know if there's any snow left. And as always, we'll look at those poll results and comments at the end of the show. Sticking with weather, state lawmakers and Governor Whitmer are touring the devastation caused across Southwest Michigan by 4 violent tornadoes. They're talking about what's being done in the aftermath. The devastation can be seen in this video. Up North Live's Remington Hernandez has what lawmakers are saying and what the next steps are.
State Senator Jonathan Lindsay, who represents all of the impacted areas, sitting down with constituents in 3 Rivers.
This was scheduled before we had a storm, but obviously because of those storms, there's an extra emphasis on talking with folks about their experience through the storm, whether there are additional resources that we can help connect them with, and just checking in with the community and giving them the best information I have.
Lindsay toured the damage, emphasizing its scope. He was joined by State Representative Steve Carra, whose own neighborhood was hit by the tornado. Carra lauded the response and noted people across the spectrum at all levels are working to support those impacted.
People are coming together, and their intentions are in the right place, even if there are disagreements in spots. And it's been a sad but beautiful thing to see the community come together like this.
When asked if the legislature would need to approve more funding to help, Lindsay said it's too early to tell, but Carra wants to make resources available.
Looking at what we can do to provide for the community, we definitely want to make sure that we uncover whatever we can to make sure that the community gets through this as best as possible.
Congressman Tim Walberg also toured the devastation, skipping a caucus meeting in Florida. He says the federal government is ready to assist.
We've been in contact with FEMA since Friday afternoon, and the Homeland Security Secretary Noem, who is still secretary until the end of the month, called me on Friday night to offer any assistance that they can do.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer saw the damage Saturday, and on Sunday, her office told the Detroit News she wants an investigation into why the National Weather Service did not issue a tornado watch ahead of the storms, raising the possibility that federal funding cuts are to blame. Walberg and Lindsay welcome reviews into the process, but doubted whether anything else could have been done.
It was so localized. It was just such a small area. So probably the governor's going to find out that what was available was done. I think she'll also find out that there were not cuts in funding for the Weather Service. In fact, there were increases.
Lindsay noted Michigan's own deficiencies.
Storms like this continue to highlight that the state needs to have a better overall approach to how we deal with disaster relief.
I reached out to the governor's office to ask if she's had conversations with emergency managers or the Weather Service on her concerns about the lack of a watch and if she'd still like an investigation. I did not hear back. In Three Rivers, I'm Remington Hernandez reporting.
Taking a look ahead now, more than 70 businesses will gather in Cadillac for a large hiring and networking event aimed at connecting job seekers with opportunities all across the region. The Career and Commerce Expo takes place Friday at the Wexford Civic Center. The goal is to connect people with jobs, volunteer opportunities, and local businesses all in one place. Organizers say with dozens of companies attending, there will be plenty of people to check out. The Cadillac Area Chamber of Commerce is partnering with the Alliance for Economic Success to host the event. More than 70 businesses are expected to attend, ranging from small local shops to large manufacturers. Some employers will even conduct on-the-spot interviews for people looking to work. Nonprofit organizations will also be there to highlight volunteer opportunities across the Cadillac area.
Everybody that we talk to has a need. I can't think of many that don't. There's a few employers that are pretty good right now, but across the board, when we've done our visits with our investors and other meetings that we've had throughout the area, there's still a significant need for employees.
The Career and Commerce Expo runs from Friday at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and is free and open to the public. Well, since it's Monday, we're looking ahead to warmer days ahead, even some summer concerts. That has us checking in with our good friends at Interlochen Center for the Arts for a preview of their 2026 summer concert lineup. Joining us tonight is Rodney Adke with Interlochen Center for the Arts. Rodney, always good to see you. Thank you for making the time to join us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So let's start with the first concert lineup. We're looking at middle of July, Brit Floyd, The Wall, the Moon, and beyond.
Yes, Brit Floyd's going to be returning. We had Brit Floyd last year at Kresge Auditorium. It was such a wonderful show. It was one of my favorite shows of the summer, and we invited them back, and they accepted, and they will be back this year doing The Wall, the Moon, and beyond. It's going to be a great show, a lot of energy. Expect the wonderful light laser show that they had last year, and just the energy of Pink Floyd music on stage. You could literally close your eyes and you wouldn't even know it's not Pink Floyd that's on stage. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be another unforgettable journey going through the Pink Floyd music catalog.
I might have to get my mom in town for that because she's a Pink Floyd fan. So I think this is one that I might have to attend. So you're giving me some ideas there, Rodney. Tickets do start at $43.
Yep.
Yes.
And they go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at interlochen.org/tickets, or you can give our box office a call.
Excellent.
And then the other show that we have coming up, another great tribute show. This is kind of tribute week is what I've been calling it. On August 13th, we have The Concert, a tribute to ABBA. So they're going to be bringing the ABBA ready for some dancing and singing. They're going to be doing songs like Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia, Take a Chance on Me, just all the great ABBA songs from, that's been played on the radio for generations that we all know by heart.
I was going to say those classics, as soon as you hear them, you just want to get up and dance, and just, especially to be able to have these concerts at the Kresge Auditorium in the summer, it's perfection. I mean, I know you and I have talked about this before, but for people who've never been to Kresge Auditorium, explain what they can experience during these concerts.
Yeah, it's just a great location for a concert. You're right on Green Lake there. We have a beer and wine patio that you can overlook the lake and watch the sunset. It's an outdoor amphitheater, an outdoor auditorium rather. And summer nights in northern Michigan, just music under the pines is what I like to say. Yeah. It's going to be a great night.
And again, for both concerts, tickets go on sale this Friday.
Yep, this Friday at 10 a.m., interlochen.org/tickets, or you can give our box office a call. And we already have a bunch of concerts that we've already announced, everything from jazz, folk, rock, country, that's already on sale. So if you go to that interlochen.org/tickets, you can get tickets for those shows as well.
And that will include more information too as well, Rodney. You mentioned we've talked about other concerts that are coming up. All of that information would be on the website.
Correct.
Excellent. Rodney, always great to hear from you. We will check in with you next Monday. Thank you so much. All of that information, of course, is on our website, UpNorthLive.com, so you can check out those Interlochen Center for the Arts concerts coming up this summer. Too many cooks in the kitchen, and it may be costing taxpayer dollars. That's how lawmakers and county leaders describe what they say is an unnecessary burden most of our northern Michigan counties are facing when it comes to our parks and recreation boards. So they're looking to change the rules and, in their words, reduce the waste. Our Mark Gillette reports.
Board of that size overseeing 3 small campgrounds, just over 200 camping lots, is unnecessary, inefficient, and a waste of taxpayer dollars.
That's Alpena County Administrator Jesse Osmer testifying to lawmakers in support of Representative Cam Cavett's House Bill 5317.
Common sense bill that gives small counties more flexibility in how they structure their park and recreations board while saving taxpayers money.
In order to understand how, you have to understand why.
Under current law, every county must maintain a 10-member park and recreation board, regardless of size, or even if they have any recreational assets that they manage.
Yep, right now, if a county in Michigan has a park and rec board, it by law must have 10 members, like they do, for example, in Alpena, where those 10 members oversee 3 small campgrounds.
Just at times, I think in a county of our size, too many cooks in the kitchen.
To reduce the cooks and the cost, House Bill 5317 would allow the 63 counties in Michigan with fewer than 100,000 residents to go from 10 board members down to 7.
Potentially saving thousands of dollars each year. Money that could instead be used for maintaining parks, improving facilities, or expanding programming.
The savings in most counties comes down to per diems and mileage paid to each individual board member.
Could you just share a little bit more about the savings? About what would the expected savings be if this legislation were to pass and you would have the ability to reduce the size of this body?
I would say that the savings would be between probably $3,000 and $5,000, which again, I know does not sound like a lot, but again, we can make a lot happen with that amount of money.
Trimming 3 board members isn't a financial windfall for the county's budget, but for many parks and rec departments, it's enough to make a difference.
We would be able to put that money back into our parks. And I realize saying that it may seem like a small amount, but for those of us living in smaller rural areas, we can make a lot happen with that amount of money being invested back into our properties.
If this becomes law, counties would have the option to downsizing their board. It's not required. But Representative Cam Cavett believes
it simply gives local leaders the option to right-size their boards and eliminate waste while keeping services strong.
Again, that was Up North Live's Mark Gillette reporting. The bill made its way through the State House with no lawmaker voting against it. It now is to make its way through the Senate. All right, stay right here. Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix takes a look at the spring-like weather we're feeling today, but how that could slowly change over the next few days. All those details coming up.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
I'm Dee Dee Gatton with the National News Desk in Washington, D.C., and this is your news update.
We have been in a heightened state of alert in New York City since the start of hostilities in Iran, and we remain in that posture today. We will continue to deploy additional counterterrorism resources.
Two men who threw two explosives at a protest outside the New York City mayor's mansion Saturday said they were inspired by ISIS, according to court documents. The devices did not explode, and the men were arrested. Police say the suspects were counter-protesters at the event, which was led by a far-right activist. The son of Iran's late supreme leader has been named his successor, Iranian state TV confirmed. Mojtaba Khamenei had long been considered a contender for the post, despite never holding a government position. He now stands at the heart of Iran's theocracy and will have final say over all matters of state. The Justice Department and Ticketmaster's parent company, Live Nation, have settled their high-stakes antitrust case. The deal reportedly requires Live Nation to pay roughly $200 million in damages, requires Ticketmaster to open part of its platform to rival companies, and limits Ticketmaster's contracts with venues. And that's your news update.
All right, switching gears now, taking a look at that weather today. Feeling a lot like spring, Joe.
It was nice.
It was so nice. It just makes you, at least puts me in a better mood, but I know it's not going to last.
No, we're in that where we have both, winter and spring this time of the year. Some areas, Melissa's almost like summer today.
Yes, I know.
Look at Mount Pleasant on that map, 72. Escota as well, 72 degrees today. So these are the high temperatures earlier today. Now, even in the UP, we had 50s at Sault Ste. Marie and Newberry, but temperatures are starting to drop off now. But these are the high temperatures that were set today. Traverse City, Alpena, and Houghton Lake all broke record highs for March 9th. So it was the warmest day ever on March 9th for those spots. Traverse City broke the record by 5 degrees. The old record was 60. 65 today. Alpena, 68. Houghton Lake, 63. The old record there, 58. And then Pellston did tie the daily record at 57. And those were all set except for Alpena all back in 2016. Now, our three big things moving ahead here: a return to winter on tap, cooler temperatures in general, and some messy weather at times. In fact, our next system rolls in here tomorrow night into Wednesday. That'll be a messy one. Chance for some freezing rain, sleet, some snow, all possible. And then maybe the potential for a little heavier snow later next weekend. That's a ways away, but something we'll keep tabs on here as we get a little closer. Look at our temperatures right now. It's 71 at Grand Rapids, 38 at Sault Ste. Marie. Now, if you like the spring weather, unfortunately, our air mass is coming from here. We're going to turn our wind out of the northeast and drag in some cooler weather. We're already seeing that to the north where temperatures are in the 30s currently. Also along that front, a few rain showers, not much of that reaching the ground tonight. Tomorrow, we all cloud up tomorrow. Maybe a shower south, chance for a few snowflakes north. And then as we head into the afternoon and evening, a little bit of light snow, especially north of Gaylord tomorrow in the afternoon and evening. And then here comes that messy system Tuesday night into Wednesday. So this is a mix of freezing rain, sleet, snow here. This downstate, and they are expecting the potential for some severe weather in the far southern part of the state tomorrow evening. A few thunderstorms could lift up into our area. We are not expecting severe weather here. Freezing rain and sleet in the morning, and then Wednesday afternoon looks like the chance for some snow. So as we take a look at snowfall, where it will be a little colder, a couple inches, 2, 3 here, maybe around Drummond Island, less south. And then there is the potential also for some ice accumulation. And you can see that right there. That would not be tonight. This, again, would be Tuesday night into early on Wednesday. But roads could be a bit slippery around northern Michigan as we head into Wednesday. And then I'll run through late week, quiet Thursday, but two systems, it appears at least. One Friday, low pressure spinning through here with rain and snow. And then perhaps another more substantial system Sunday. Now, this could all change based on the track, but possibly snow and then some cold weather coming in next week. We're going to get thrust straight back into winter type weather. Tonight, increasing clouds, maybe a flurry north or a shower south, 28 to 40. Not as warm tomorrow. For the UP, some scattered, mainly afternoon snow. Newberry, 34, your high temperature there. Gaylord, Petoskey, 37, a few rain and snow showers. Same thing here. Pretty cloudy, not as warm, upper 30s, low 40s, a few rain snow showers for your Tuesday. And a little warmer here, 40s and 50s, some spotty rain showers, lots of clouds. So a little messy Wednesday, Thursday partly cloudy, and then another chance for some rain or snow during the day on Friday. In general, though, it looks a lot colder.
All right, thanks, Joe. Coming up, sports director Harrison Beebe has a look at where things stand in the high school girls basketball tournaments. That's all coming up next in sports. Sports director Harrison Beebe is out covering regional semifinal games in girls basketball tonight. He shares with us now a preview of all the teams still left in the tournament.
Quick 2-day break from the high school basketball state tournaments, but no rest for the weary. The girls basketball action tips back off tonight with regional semifinals. So let's run down the list of games going on tonight. Petoskey and Negaunee crossing paths in a Division II regional semifinal. Also in Division II, it's Clare and Big Rapids meeting up in the Cardinals home gym. Moving down to Division III, that's where Harbor Springs is hosting Roscommon tonight. While in the Lake City Regional, Everett will be taking on Beaverton. Also in the Lake City Regional, we know Glen Lake and Morley Stanwell will determine the other regional finalist from that bracket. And in Division IV, we know the St. Ignace Saints making a great run through this tournament, taking on Newberry, while Inland Lakes is going up against Ellsworth. And a great doubleheader we're catching in the Johannesburg-Lewiston Regional tonight in Division IV as Gaylord St. Mary taking on Buckley. And then the second half of the doubleheader involves Mayo meeting up with Frankfort. We'll have highlights from both those contests and all the scores from a busy regional semifinal night tonight during sports at 11. Over the weekend, we had a few state championship notes to pass along. The Bay Reps girls varsity hockey team captured the Michigan Girls High School League state championship this weekend with a dominant 6-0 win over Grosse Pointe South. They entered the tournament ranked number 1 in the state, and the Reps delivered a commanding performance from start to finish, including a hat trick from Sarah Outman to get the win in this one. Other goals in the state finals scored by Ellie Boyce, Paisley Upshaw, and Brooklyn Cooper. With the state title in tow, the Bay Reps now turn their attention to the national stage. We know we had 3 state champions crowned at Ford Field for the MHSAA High School Wrestling Individual Finals over the weekend, and that included a 2-time champion, Zane Willoughby of Gaylord. The Division II wrestler won another state title at the 165-pound weight class. Also in boys in Division IV, Charlevoix Sawyer Blashock was victorious in the 285-pound weight class competition, and Angelea Burden of Mayo won a back-to-back individual state championship at 135 pounds in the girls' individual wrestling state tournaments.
All right, thanks for that, Harrison. Coming up, we'll take a live look at the results for our question of the day coming up after this break.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Welcome back to Unscripted. We are taking a look at our question of the day. Is there still snow in your yard? Here's our poll response right now. 84% saying yes, there's still some snow. 16% saying no. Of course, a lot of the weather that we saw today melted a lot. Let's see what people are saying on Facebook. Crystal, good to hear from you, lady. She says yes, but so much is melted. I feel that. Linda, also good to hear from you. She says yes, my driveway is mostly clear. Annette, good to hear from you too. She says, gosh, yes. Steven says knee deep in Gaylord still. Rhonda says we have entered mud season, melting quickly in Indian River. With weather like this, we should all be melting. I feel you there. All right. Thanks for tuning in to Unscripted tonight. We hope to see you back here for Up North Live News at 11. Until then, have a fabulous evening.